the Indian Council of Agricultural Research launched the National Initiative on Climate Resilient Agriculture project in 2011. The NICRA project is coordinated at the national level by the Central Research Institute for Dryland Agriculture. The program is coordinated by ATARI at the zonal level. Climate resilient interventions are implemented in 4 major modules. 1. Natural Resource Management (NRM). 2. Crop Production. 3. Livestock and Fisheries. And 4. Institutional Interventions. The technology demonstrations were implemented at Nagenahalli village of Koratagere Taluk, Tumakuru district, Karnataka by ICAR, Krishi Vignan Kendra, Hirehalli, Tumakuru, with the support of Agricultural Technology Application Research Institutes. The village is relatively more vulnerable to climatic variability like drought, dry spells, and extreme temperature. The village has acute shortage of water and preponderance of waste and common land. The total geographical area of the village is 378 hectare, of which 190 hectare is under cultivation. In the total area, 15.6 hectare is under irrigation and 174 hectare is rain-fed. The village has total population of 932. The village has 269 households. The soils of the village are predominantly red sandy soils, followed by red loamy soil. The major source of irrigation is through open wells covering an area of 8 hectare, followed by bore wells covering an area of 4.6 hectare. Major crops grown in the village are finger millet, groundnut, paddy, pigeon pea, and maize, and vegetables. About 92% of the area in the village is under rain-fed cultivation, and only a small portion of the land area is under irrigation either from open or bore wells and tanks. More than 75% of the wells have failed in recent times due to insufficient recharge. Only 4 out of 32 water lifting pumps are working. Water-efficient irrigation techniques are not prevalent in the village. NRM interventions related to in-situ moisture conservation, water harvesting and recycling for supplemental irrigation, recharge structure for open well, artificial groundwater recharge and efficient water management methods were demonstrated. 81 farm ponds of various sizes, 80 to 300 cubic meter of 24,800 cubic meter liters capacity were constructed during the last 8 years. An average area of 0.1 to 0.4 hectare per farm pond was covered for cultivation of tomato, brinjal, chrysanthemum, China aster, paddy, finger millet, and groundnut crops. Net returns of Rs 11,500 per farm pound was realized by the farmers.
ನಮಗೆ ಈರೆಳ್ಳಿಯವರು ಕೃಷಿ ಹೊಂಡ ಮಾಡಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟ ಮೇಲೆ ಮೊದಲಿಗಿಂತ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮದು ಬೆಳೆಯಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಬೆಳೆ ಬೆಳೆ 2 ಬೆಳೆ ಈಗ 3 ಬೆಳೆ ಬೆಳೀತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಕೃಷಿ ಹೊಂಡ ಮಾಡೋದು ಮುಂದಾಗಿ ನೀರೆಲ್ಲ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೋಗೋದು. ಈ ಕೃಷಿ ಹೊಂಡ ಮಾಡಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ನೀರು ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಆಚೆಗೆ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಬಾವಿಗೆ ಸೀಪೇಜ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ.
5 check dams of various sizes from 300 to 6,000 cubic meter of 6,750 cubic meter liters capacity were constructed during the last 8 years. An average area of 0.1 to 0.4 hectare per check dam was covered for cultivation of tomato, brinjal, chrysanthemum, China aster, paddy, ರಾಗಿ and groundnut crops.
ಒಂದು ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅವಾಗ 10,000 ಆದಾಯ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು.
Net returns of rupees 8,400 per check dam was realized by the farmers. In NICRA villages, defunct water harvesting structures were identified and desilted with farmers' participation to enhance water storage. 15 farm ponds of various sizes from 80 to 300 cubic meter of 7,500 cubic meter liters capacity were desilted. 8 check dams of various sizes from 300 to 6,000 cubic meter of 10,700 cubic meter liters capacity and 4 community tanks of various sizes from 1,500 to 1,45,000 cubic meter of 1,51,100 cubic meter liters capacity were desilted. The increased capacity enabled high rainwater harvest after its renovation and excavation. This helped in providing protective irrigation in 20 to 25 hectare during dry spells in Kharif. Increase in net returns rupees 13,500 per year was realized by each farmer. It has been observed that crop under micro irrigation gave higher yield, good quality produce and hence fetched higher returns. Trench bunds were built across the slope with appropriate sections. Arrested soil erosion and trenches served as water reservoir pits that keep soil moisture intact for longer duration. This recharged the groundwater in the area to sustain the long dry spells in between two rains. Around 134 hectare of trench bunds were developed, benefiting around 185 farmers. Land leveling helped in reducing soil erosion as well as runoff to an appreciable extent by enhancing infiltration of water into the soil. Around 19 hectare land was developed under land leveling along with making compartments covering 35 farmers. Tank slit application to fields improved the water holding capacity of soils. The rich silt deposited on these structures was applied to their fields, improved water holding capacity of soils and crop yields. Around 300 tons of tank silt was applied in 74 hectare of farmers' fields, which benefited 119 farmers. 190 soil health cards were provided to farmers. Large-scale adoption of tree-based farming system. Soil test-based nearly 80% area was brought under the tree cover by involving 100 farmers. Mixed forestry species Melia, dubia, acacia, auricule farmers, teak and silver oak seedlings were planted on trenches in 27 hectares. Dryland horticulture crops, tamarind, mango, aonil, cashew, jamun were planted in 16.5 hectare area. In view of aberrant monsoon conditions, contingency crops for late planting, including soil moisture in standing crops expecting dry spells, were taken up at several locations. Cultivation of short duration and high yielding varieties, finger millet ML 365, KMR 630 enabled farmers to cope with shortened growing season due to late arrival of monsoon and delayed plantings. The yield advantage was up to 40% over farmers' practice local gutty finger millet. In an area of 1 hectare, there is additional production of 7 quintal and additional income of rupees 13,500.
ಒಂದು ಎಕರೆಗೆ ಸರಾಸರಿ ಸುಮ್ಮ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಬೆಳೆ ಬಂದ್ರೂ ಒಂದು 7 ಕ್ವಿಂಟಾಲು ಬೆಳೆ ಬೆಳ್ಕೊಂಬೋದಾಯಿತು. ಈಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಕೃಷಿ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಇರಳ್ಳಿ ವತಿಯಿಂದ ನಮಗೆ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ 365 ಅಂದರೆ 365 ತಳಿಯನ್ನು ನಮಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಅದರಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಒಂದು ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಎಕರೆಗೆ ಸರಾಸರಿ ಈಗ ಒಂದು 12 ಕ್ವಿಂಟಲ್ ತನಕನೂ ನಾವು ಉತ್ಪಾದನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ.
Finger millet ML365 has been promoted and demonstrated in 174 hectare and benefited around 247 farmers. Pigeon pea BRG2 and BRG4 are short duration, high yielding variety and suitable for dry land and late sowing. The performance of the variety is excellent compared to local variety. The yield advantage was up to 20% over farmers' practice. In an area of 1 hectare, there is additional production of 2 quintal and additional income of rupees 8,300. Red gram BRG2 has been promoted and demonstrated in 62 hectare and benefited around 151 farmers. Aerobic rice cultivation with drought-tolerant variety MAS-26 was demonstrated, which helped in saving of water and reduced cost in cultivation. The yield of aerobic rice is 31 quintal per hectare in comparison to transplanted rice of 25 quintal per hectare. In an area of 1 hectare, there is additional production of 6 quintal and additional income of rupees 6,500. Aerobic paddy has been promoted and demonstrated in 26 hectare and benefited around 55 farmers. To minimize the low yield in the sole finger millet and groundnut crops, intercropping systems, finger millet and pigeon pea in 8:1 ratio, groundnut and pigeon pea in 4:1 ratio were taken up. Intercropping system in finger millet and groundnut were adopted by 185 farmers in 81 hectare. In an area of 1 hectare, there is additional income of rupees 2,000. Livestock interventions are demonstrated by enhancing adaptation grains and imparting resilience. Availability of fodder is a challenge in the region, especially during drought and summer. Farmers adopted year-round fodder production systems with sorghum and multi-cut fodder varieties like COFS 29 and 31. This resulted in increase in milk production by about 10 to 15% at household level and increase in additional income of rupees 6,000 per month. Institutional interventions. Villagers came together to share, support and encourage fellow farmers to adapt to the change in climatic conditions. Regular meetings were conducted to assess local resources and prioritize location-specific technology interventions. Custom Hiring Center CHCs are managed by farmers themselves and hiring charges are worked out by farmers group. Revenue from hiring is deposited in a bank account and used for repair and maintenance of machines. Simple weather stations established in NICRA villages promoted climate awareness and literacy among farmers. Capacity building and extension training. 46 mass sensitization and 54 capacity building programs were held for creating awareness on soil and water conservation measures, drought tolerant and short duration crops. Before mass sensitization, farmers were hesitant on adoption of soil and water conservation measures. After providing awareness and trainings, farmers successfully adopted water conservation works and realized the economic and ecological benefits. The NICRA project identified successful practices for climate resilience in agriculture in this complex, diverse and risk-prone environments. The project opened up opportunities for scaling up and scaling out of proven interventions. NICRA village Nagenahalli became hub for learning on climate-resilient agriculture and paved the way for mainstreaming of climate-resilient practices to manage climate variability.
NICRA ಯೋಜನೆ ನಿಕ್ರಾ ಯೋಜನೆ
ನಿಕ್ರಾ ಯೋಜನೆ
ನಿಕ್ರಾ ಯೋಜನೆ
ನಿಕ್ರಾ ಯೋಜನೆ
ನಿಕ್ರಾ ಯೋಜನೆ ನಿಕ್ರಾ ಯೋಜನೆ